Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, who you got?
No, Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson?
Jake Paul will be up against. He'll get teased for taking this fight, for one. He'll get teased for that. He'll work himself through that. But, yeah, if he goes out there and cleans his clock, they're going to come.
The highly anticipated showdown between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson continues to divide the boxing world like few fights have in recent memory. As excitement builds toward fight night, several legendary figures from combat sports have started sharing their predictions, with many believing Tyson still possesses the skills, instincts, and devastating power to make this fight far more dangerous than people expect.
So I hear Mike Tyson will be fighting Jake Paul. Not quite sure how that will go, but it could be something like this.
Surrounding this matchup has become one of the most polarizing topics in combat sports. Former heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis recently joined the conversation by posting a virtual simulation of the fight on social media. The simulated matchup showed Tyson overwhelming Paul in devastating fashion, ending with a knockout victory that quickly caught the attention of boxing fans online.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
The video reignited debate about what could actually happen when they finally meet in the ring, with many fans taking it as a sign of how the real fight might unfold, adding even more intrigue to the discussion. Former UFC champion Tyron Woodley backed Tyson's chances with a confident prediction. Woodley argued that experience cannot be overlooked and insisted that Tyson's legendary instincts remain dangerous regardless of age.
5 rounds for the undisputed UFC Heavyweight Championship of the world.
Iron Mike Tyson has graced the octagon. Tyson is ready to fight.
And it is all over. I have to think this is going the distance, and he's dead. My mistake.
According to him, Tyson's muscle memory and decades of ring experience still make him one of the most intimidating fighters alive, and those qualities cannot simply be erased by time. Woodley went even further by claiming that Tyson's punching power remains exceptional even at his advanced age.
At the end of the day, Mike Tyson, just watching him do his fucking pass in the bag, like, I always have this inside joke. They'd be like, how much would you have to get paid to fight Mike Tyson? I'm like, I'd never be able to spend it. Like, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, he's fighting the person, the one fighter that most people fear. And I feel like 58, 27, the age is not a factor. That's a wash, right? Experience level obviously is going to go to Mike Tyson. But Jake's got a screw.
Suggested that Tyson has forgotten more boxing techniques than Jake Paul has learned throughout his entire career, emphasizing that a single clean punch from the former heavyweight champion could completely change the outcome of the fight in an instant. Woodley's comments reflected his belief that raw power and experience will ultimately prove decisive. At the same time,
if Jake Paul beat Mike Tyson under 70, you're going to have to put at least an ounce of respect on his name. Mike Tyson right now, off muscle memory alone, he can have a flashback, right? He can step on the wrong eggshell and let off a combination that can kill most people. No boy. He has the power and ability to shift organs in your body if he hits you with the right force, right? So I think he forgot more technique than Jake Paul has ever learned in his life.
Woodley acknowledged that Paul deserves some credit for stepping into such a high-profile contest against a living legend. He argued that if Jake Paul manages to defeat Tyson, even at Tyson's advanced age, critics would eventually be forced to show him some level of respect because of the enormous risk involved in facing one of boxing's most feared figures.
It's gonna make money. You want me to say more than that? Is there a need to say more than that?
Woodley believes that Paul's willingness to take such a dangerous fight demonstrates genuine ambition. Meanwhile, UFC veteran Matt Brown offered a completely different perspective on the matchup. Brown described the fight as a lose-lose situation for Jake Paul, regardless of the outcome. In his view, losing to a man approaching 60 years old would be damaging to Paul's reputation and credibility, while beating a much older Tyson would still leave many questioning the true value of the victory. Brown believes Paul cannot truly win in the eyes of the public.
I'm actually a fan of Jake Paul's, and I'll tell you why. The American dream. He had a vision, he had a belief, he went out there, he took all his YouTube, whatever you call those freaking things, all his YouTube followers, he went to a different platform, to a different arena. As I said, he had a vision for what he was going to do.
Brown believes the fight is being promoted largely as entertainment rather than a legitimate sporting contest that determines anything meaningful. He suggested that Paul understands the role he plays in the storyline, positioning himself as the villain that fans love to root against, which helps generate enormous attention and financial success. Brown sees
He had the guts, he had the determination to go out there and color in that vision and take risks doing it. Yeah, everyone says he's fighting old guys, he's fighting guys that aren't real boxers, he's fighting guys that are boxers but they're not good boxers. All that. He has taken risks. He's been in there with MMA guys that, like I said about Ngannou, you know, they might have been a little older at the time. They might not have been purely a striker. Obviously, they were UFC champions, but they were champions. So
this as a carefully crafted spectacle designed for maximum revenue. Despite criticizing the matchup from a sporting perspective, Brown admitted that millions of people will still tune in to watch the event. He questioned Tyson's motivation for accepting the fight, noting that Tyson has often spoken about leaving his fighting days behind and does not appear to need the money or publicity at this stage of his life. Brown
Iron Mike. I'm not going against Mike Tyson.
I'm not neither.
Mike Tyson is one of those guys that you see his name, I'm voting Mike Tyson. I'm going for Mike.
Brown wondered what could be driving Tyson to return to the ring. Brown also suggested alternative opponents for Jake Paul, mentioning fighters who are closer to Paul's age and current competitive level. In his opinion, those matchups would create more legitimate sporting intrigue while avoiding concerns surrounding Tyson's age and the potential for a mismatch. Brown believes Paul should face opponents who can truly test him. Former Tyson trainer Teddy Atlas shared a more balanced view of the situation. Atlas acknowledged that the event is undoubtedly a major business success but also praised Jake Paul for pursuing his vision with determination. He noted that Paul successfully transformed himself from a social media personality into a serious participant in the boxing world, earning a level of respect from some longtime boxing observers. Atlas pointed out that while many critics focus on Paul's choice of opponents, the YouTube star has still taken significant risks by stepping into the ring repeatedly. He emphasized that Paul has shown commitment to training and improvement, earning a level of respect from some longtime boxing observers who initially dismissed him as nothing more than a publicity stunt. Atlas
I don't care the age gap, like he
take it serious.
Actually fighting a boxer. Like he's not fighting a MMA guy, he's not fighting a wrestler, he's not fighting an entertainer, he's fighting a boxer. I don't care how old the age gap is, he's fighting a boxer.
Acknowledged that Paul's dedication cannot be denied. As the fight approaches, Tyson's training preparations continue to generate headlines and capture the public imagination. Many fans remain fascinated by his physical transformation and renewed focus, wondering whether flashes of the explosive fighter who once dominated the heavyweight division can still appear when the opening bell rings. Tyson's training videos have become a major talking point. Another notable voice entering the discussion was NBA star Paul George, who offered his perspective on the matchup. George made it clear that he refuses to bet against Tyson, arguing that experience and boxing knowledge should not be dismissed simply because of the significant age difference between the two fighters. George believes Tyson's ring intelligence gives him a clear edge. George stressed that Tyson is not just another celebrity opponent for Paul to face. Unlike some of Paul's previous rivals from MMA and other sports, Tyson is a lifelong boxer with decades of elite-level experience, making this challenge fundamentally different from anything Paul has faced before. George believes this factor alone makes the fight unpredictable. The rivalry also includes previous comments Tyson made about Paul's boxing skills that have added fuel to the fire. Tyson once claimed that he could see Paul's punches coming from a distance and suggested that, if properly conditioned, he would attack aggressively without hesitation. Those remarks continue to fuel anticipation ahead of their meeting and have become part of the promotional narrative. Meanwhile, trainer Freddie Roach previously described Paul as an average club-level fighter and claimed Tyson showed little interest after briefly observing him. Paul strongly rejected those comments, insisting Tyson had never actually watched him spar and accusing Roach of spreading inaccurate information. The back and forth has only intensified interest in the fight, with opinions split across boxing, MMA, and mainstream sports. The fight has become one of the most talked about events in combat sports. Supporters point to Tyson's legendary experience and devastating power, while others believe Paul's youth and activity level could prove decisive factors. The debate shows no signs of slowing down, whether the outcome favors the veteran icon or the younger challenger. One thing is certain, the matchup has captured global attention in a way few fights ever do. As fight night draws closer, predictions continue to pour in from all corners, and the debate over who will emerge victorious shows no signs of slowing down anytime soon. The world will be watching.